Hi guys, welcome to week 4. One of the things I want to start doing is like a weekly announcement sort of thing. Check in with you guys, tell you what's going well, let you see my face if you want to, and just talk about maybe the next unit that's coming up. So far, I want to say we've done 3 weeks. You guys have been outstanding. I mean, we're talking about 70 or 80 students getting every single thing done. A lot of communication. People are emailing me, asking me great questions. I'm able to send back certain videos that help explain things. So I gotta say, with these circumstances, you guys are doing a really great job. One thing I want to recommend is that you log into Schoology if you, especially if you struggle. Log into Schoology and look at the updates area more than just once a week, more than just on Monday. Throughout the week, I'll hear different problems or different suggestions from students, and I'll post different things there. But if you're not checking the updates, then you won't see it. Okay, guys, what I mean when I say updates is when you first click into our math course, you see our folders up here. This is our default view because this is where the most important stuff is. So the updates don't often just pop up here when I post new stuff. So what you want to do is just glance over here. If you see a number over here, updates 1, updates 2, you want to click over there and just take a quick look at it. That's where new videos because of problems will come. A lot of times I'll put them there and then I'll message everybody in the class too, hey, here's a new video. I want to really encourage people to send emails. Everybody who I get an email from, I am replying to, parent or student, within 15 minutes. So really, we had one interesting situation where I was replying and one student was not receiving the email. If that is happening to you, I would say email me back immediately and say, hey, you never responded. Then I can email your family or try a different email. Let's do that rather than you assuming that I'm not going to respond, because I will. I will respond to every single one of you no matter what the question is. Then I want to talk about what is the purpose of going through these assignments. And there's always this balancing act between students. One side of you just wants to get things done so that you can try to get A's or get good grades, right? So tell me what I need to do. Let me just knock that out. And then the other side, really the purpose of education, in my mind, is teaching you as much as possible so that you can just grow and grow and grow, and then you can become or do whatever you want in this life. So you really got to balance that. So I want to recommend that if you're somebody who's finishing the basic stuff of our assignments, in 10, 15 minutes or something like that, we're designating like an hour to this. And that means that the things that we assign for everybody were too easy for you. So I really, really suggest that you go and try one or two of the harder things, just so, again, you can grow as much as possible. Our mission for each class is to say about 3 hours of work each week. And that includes the assignments. So compare that to a normal class week, which is 5 hours, and then maybe a half hour of homework. So we're talking 3 hours with remote learning for 7 hours with like a normal school week per subject. So it is way less, even if it seems more. So on the one hand, I'm saying if you're doing things too quickly, please try some of the extensions, because that'll just make you stronger and stronger. On the other hand, if it's taking you a really long time to do sort of the first assignment that I give, then you really want to reach out or look for those other things that I'm posting. I'm posting in each chapter notes from the textbook that show in words and writing how to do different things. And I usually will post a video of myself solving a few of the IXL problems too, or big ideas problems to help you out. Next, I want to talk about glitches. If you've got glitches, like IXL is not showing you the pictures for some reason, my first suggestion is try logging in different browsers. We usually use Google Chrome, but if you try iOS Safari or Firefox or even the Microsoft Edge and Explorer, sometimes one of those will end up working for you. If none of them work, reach out and contact me. I had a few students do that, and so I changed their assignment this last week to Big Ideas. And I get to pick out the specific problems to try to tailor it to you. So if you want to do that, let's do that if the IXL seems too hard. I want to take a moment to talk about the biggest missing assignment each week. People are doing the main assignment from lesson 1, from lesson 2, and from lesson 3, but a lot of people are forgetting the wrap up. It's like a little bit of an assessment where we can say, hey, this is a review of the whole week. One problem from each section. Did you get it this week? So a lot of times it'll be out of 4 points or out of 6 points. So that's the number one thing that people are kind of forgetting to do. I'm going to show you a quick video right now how to find that each week in Schoology. Okay, guys, so what I mean by the most overlooked item is when you, say for last week, we click in, you guys are great. You check this out first, then you went into lesson 1, 2, and 3. Well, because of our format, I get it. Most people do this IXL thinking that's the last thing I need to do in lesson 3. But it does say first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I'm putting those numbers by the mandatory stuff to sort of get all of the content. So fifth, you need to click in here. It's a week 3 wrap up. And then when you do click in there, answer the questions and make sure you hit submit. That's the number one thing people are not doing out of all of my work is this wrap up. And there's one every single week. All right, and then last thing, I guess, is talking about this upcoming week. So we got some great videos from the teachers and from Khan Academy. This week we're going to be talking about, and I got to be careful with this, 3D shapes, okay? So you agree this is 3 dimensions now instead of just 2 dimensions. Why? 2-dimension things were flat. They could go up, could go sideways, but could never go like this other dimension. But 3D are shapes like this. So I borrowed some of my kids' toys to show you this. This is going to be called a rectangular prism, right? If you see this, it looks like a rectangle. And prisms are things that, to me, they look almost like telescopes. And our teachers will go a little bit more over that in detail. But this is a rectangular prism. And our next shape you'll see is a triangular prism. So it looks the same almost like a telescope, right? You can look through one and see out the other. However, this one, if we look at it, these are called bases, and you'll see this in our videos, but these are triangles, and these are not committed to being squares in the rectangular prism, but we know squares are types of rectangles. You'll never hear something called a square prism, even though that's technically what's going on here. The rectangle doesn't necessarily define the length of the side. It actually defines the bases, okay? You'll see more about this, but I want to show you the most important thing is, we're not going to be doing volume yet. You did volume in 5th grade where you did length times width times height, and it was kind of an easier thing to do, I think, because they gave you whole numbers. We're actually going to find something called surface area this week. In surface area, I want you to think of, imagine how much of this shape is touching the air, right? Surface area. How much of this surface is touching the air if I was going to measure that. We have a great way to really break that out this week. And I'll even show you really quick with my kids' toys. So really quick as it's falling apart, this is one of the rectangular prisms, and really what the first lesson is going to be counting up how many faces there are, and the teacher will explain that, how many corners there are, and how many edges there are, okay? But then after that, we're going to be saying find the surface area, and we'll give you the lengths of these dimensions, but then what you're going to have to do is draw a new picture where you essentially deconstruct this box. So what I mean by that is, it really is just like unwrapping or unfolding a box when you cut open the edges. And I hope this will all fit. But as I unwrap it, do that, I'll have to probably pull this one down, and that was going to be like, oh, they're magnets. I wish I had rectangles. But really, if you look at it now, I think most of you can see, oh yeah, I can see how that would wrap back up into the box. That's what we're doing. And so now when you lay it out like this, you have to take the first picture and think about, okay, so what was this end? It was a 3 by 5. So what's the area of this piece? 15. Well, if this one was 15, what's this one going to be? It's also going to be 15. So you're going to see that like the opposite sides in these shapes are going to have to be the same. Like this was the bottom and this was the top. So don't those have to be the same size? This was the left side and this was the right side. So don't those have to also be the same size? And similarly, this triangular prism, show you that really quick as you unwrap it. I won't get into it too much, but it's the same idea. It's just the harder part is finding the area of the triangle, base times height, or maybe it's base times height. You've got to look for that. But when you unwrap it, just notice the other one had like 4 long dimensions, but this triangular prism is only going to have 3. And that makes sense because it's going to come, if anybody's ever seen the Toblerone candy bar, this is kind of what the shape of that box is, that triangular prism box. Okay? So last, if you want to check in about anything at all, any question that comes up, again, please email me. I hope you guys are doing great and balancing, this weird time. I mean, this is weird for me too. Like I'm helping my kids out. I'm trying to do things around the house, all while still monitoring teaching. That's why we prepare so much over the weekend with all these videos to release it so we can have balance in our lives too. So if things are getting stressful for you, hang in there and then reach out. Like we love to communicate and come up with solutions. Okay? Thanks, guys. Have a great week.